I think we do ourselves a disservice by not educating children about the world of finance. It doesn't matter if you earn 100 grand or you earn 10 grand, you're still going to be staring into a 60% pay cut in retirement.
For me, in the UK right now, people are looking for additional income streams. It's becoming more normal, I suppose, to have another income stream.
You hear people talk about, say, cash is king, right? And cash flow is king in a business, because you can get away with not making much profit or any profit as long as your cash flow is good. If you got no cash flow, you're toast.
You're listening to Better Financial Futures. I'm your host, John Boatman. After 3 decades in financial advice, I've seen how small, informed decisions can transform someone's life. This podcast is my way of sharing that experience so that even one listener can step towards a better financial future. Now, today, I'm really pleased to introduce a really good friend of mine, somebody that I've probably known the longest of any guest I have on here, and probably any guest I will have on the podcast, and that's Andrew King. Now, Andrew and I went to school together. Welcome to the podcast, Andrew.
Thanks, John. Great to be here, but you were much older than me.
Now, he did prompt me that he was going to say that, but I am the more good-looking guy, and it's all good. So, Andrew, really pleased you've jumped on. We've got a lot of things in common, but we've also got a lot of things that we can learn from each other. So please share with us your personal and professional background.
Born in Portsmouth, raised in the Swindon area, sports fan generally, travel fan always. Professionally, up until recent years, I've worked in, executive level in the corporate tech space, largely in the learning and development arena. Not much in terms of a financial education up until more recent years.
Okay. I was going to ask you really, what is your relationship with money since you're a child through to your adult lives?
I was really good at spending it. Interestingly, actually, like everybody, we don't get educated about finances when we're at school, and it took for me to go to a young farmers meeting where we had an IFA come and talk to us, and so I ended up with a pension at 18, which most people don't, and that was really the start of my financial journey. But as a relationship with money, if I've got it, I've got it. It burns a hole in my pocket. I've got to use it. All right, and I've got better at putting stuff away. I've now got some stuff in shares, as you know, and my pension's quite healthy. But if it's cash, it's gone.
Yeah. I mean, we'll come back to the pension. At the end of the day, it's unusual for someone to start a pension at 18. So that was a good thing. We'll come back to that because I'm sure you benefited from compounding of that investment. Just going back to the comment you made about schooling. I mean, we both went to the same school, and you and I both know that we didn't really get taught about money at school, and even some of the basic things. What's your view on that? What's going wrong there? We're not really educating people about money, whether they're young adults, children, or even older. What's your view on that?
I think we do ourselves a disservice by not educating children about the world of finance. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad should be in the national curriculum. It really should, because that's a real eye-opener. Work 40 hours a week for 40 years and then retire on 40% of what we couldn't live on in the first place, right? And we view that as the norm. We encourage everybody to go and get a mortgage, to buy a house, and people are told that that's an asset, which of course it isn't. So I don't think we do a good job of it, if I'm honest. My kids are both young adult. Fortunately, because of stuff that I've done over the last 4 to 5 years, they've both recognised that an additional income stream is important, if not vital. So that's a plus, I think, from my own activities. But overall, I don't think we do a good job of educating our children about money at all.
Yeah. For those people who've been watching or listening over the last few episodes, you'll notice the book Rich Dad Poor Dad has been mentioned 3 or 4 times. I don't get anything for saying that, but yeah, definitely an incredible book. And Andrew touched on an asset and liability of a property. Now, some people think of property as an asset. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. So if you're paying for a property through a mortgage, then that's more of a liability. Just going back before we come forward to where you are now with business, just talk me through your progression professionally.
Interesting, we go through school and we come out with different types of skill. People come out with number skills and they might become economists or finance. So you get people who are creative, who may go into marketing type stuff or art, graphics, design. People might become engineers. And well, I didn't leave with any of that. I just left with the ability to be able to talk to lots of different people, which is why I went into management, senior management very quickly. Bumped into a pal of mine from the cricket club, and decided I was gonna set up a wholesale distributor of cricket equipment business with him. So as an avid cricket fan, it was a bit of a holiday, I think. And I spent about 4 years in there. The business is still going today, doing very well. Very proud of it still. The foundations I laid, it's gone from strength to strength, which I'm really, really pleased about. And I spent the next 7 or 8 years as ops director and managing director of a technology studio. So responsible for a profit and loss center, and we specialized in the enterprise use of video game technology. So operating with major blue chip companies like Bentley, companies like Rolls-Royce, company like Jaguar Land Rover, making cool, serious games for those people. So, and then 2 years ago, I took the opportunity to branch out and do my own thing. So I became 4 and a bit years ago via you, John, became a network marketer, and in the domestic energy space, and then also decided that I'd have a look at commercial energy solutions. And that's what I do now. So I don't work full time or part time. I work sometimes, which is all right.
Look, I know you. So you basically are a relationship person. You're very good at building relationships. You're a very good people person, and through your career, you've obviously picked up a lot of knowledge about people, as well as the different worlds that you've worked in, and that you've come away from the corporate world now. But just going back to the pension situation, obviously you set up a pension very young, and you probably contributed along the way. And I know you were, in effect, made redundant a couple of years ago. So you were fortunate to have a pension to build.
If I hadn't have done that, I would have a personal pension pot now of about 70 grand, right? Um, because that's what the pot was when I left my last employment, right? Um, I don't sit in that space at all now, and I was very, very lucky in my 7 or 8 years in the Thompson Corporation because of the pay grade that I was at and the amount I was earning. The company used to pay an awful lot of money into my pension fund, and it was into my personal pensions. And I look at that most days now on my on my dashboard to see how it's doing. I'm now in a more aggressive fund. And it's quite sometimes it pops up quite a lot. It's in, and then then something happens like someone throws bombs in a Middle East country and it drops down again. But there you go. So it's of great relief to have done that and to be sat here thinking actually I'm not going to be too bad in retirement. But the equation is the same, irrespective of how much we earn. We still have, and this is the thing that drove me to pick up this second income thing. As a network marketer, I was still looking at a 60% pay cut in retirement, even with what looked to be on paper a really, really strong personal pension. I think, John, you talk about the amount of money that you need for a fund. So you say to somebody, how much money do you need a month? Well, I'm on $4,000 a month. So $4,000 a month times two, is it 200?
Yeah, times it by 200. Yeah.
Times it by 200, and that's the size of your fund. Well, so how many of you have got 800 grand in your personal pension, or in a pension pot? It doesn't matter if you earn 100 grand or you earn 10 grand, you're still going to be staring into a 60% pay cut in retirement. And that was the thing that drove me, because I didn't want to be taking a 60% pay cut in retirement. I wanted to be earning the same or more so that we could go out and have a good time.
Just going to touch on a few of the things you brought up there. I mean, obviously, pensions are a long-term investment. This is not about advice here, it's just generic. It's something you can put money into, and then later on in life, you can access that fund. Andrew also talked about an asset of 800,000. He gave you a calculation of 4,000 times by 200. Why is it 200? It works, basically, is the way I would explain that. Whatever number you want to have coming in every month in retirement or when you're not working, you need to take that income level, times it by 200, you'll get a lump sum figure. And if you multiply that lump sum by 6%, an average return every year of 6%, it will reverse engineer back to the original number. So in the UK, the average pension fund is £100,000, which can equate to somewhere between £3,000 and £4,000 a year in pension. We believe, or I believe, certainly financial education and giving people more options is so important. My daughter's come out of university with a huge student debt, and we need to educate people about options. Now, one of those options Andrew's touched on, he's come out of a corporate world and he was looking for work, and to go back into an executive management position can take some time. And in the meantime, him and I were speaking about one of my other businesses in the network marketing space, and he decided to get involved. So tell us a little bit more about network marketing as a business globally, as a model, rather than the particular company we work with.
Network marketing businesses are simply a way of introducing products or services to people that already know, love, and trust us, and we do so in reward for a commission of some description, as well as introducing our products and service ourselves to our friends and family. We're encouraged to introduce other people to our business that will start to build our team and help grow our business. Those people introducing the same products or services to their friends and family, creating an additional customer base, and we get a small override as the sponsor for that person. It's important to understand that for the majority of network marketing business and all the good ethical ones, there is no money to recruit people into your team. If somebody shows you a network marketing business that's based on being paid to recruit, you're probably staring at an illegal pyramid scheme. So if there's no cash reward for introducing someone for your team, that's a good sign. I think it's an amazing opportunity. There aren't people around telling you what to do, telling you to do more, asking when you're going to do it next. They're a completely supportive environment. All network marketers want every network marketer to be successful, irrespective of the business that they're working on, which is unusual. Recognition is massive across network marketing as a profession. It is a profession. Lots of people look down their nose at network marketing because it doesn't conform to the standard that we're educated with. It doesn't conform to the 40 hours a week and to exchange your time for money. The problem with exchanging time for money is we become time poor, which is not a good place. Certainly is my experience of the last few years, because I'm now time free. I would encourage everybody to have a look at network marketing. It isn't for everybody. Most of these businesses are simple, which doesn't make them easy. And we have to be prepared for lots of people to lie to us, who will say, yeah, I'll do that, and they don't. And that's fine. But I think one of the key bits for me around network marketing is the personal development journey that we go on. Most businesses have simple systems that are there for duplication, and as part of those systems is about personal development. You look around me, there's hundreds of books around me. And if I could deliver a couple of % of what's in them all, I'll do all right.
For me, in the UK right now, people are looking for additional income streams. It's becoming more normal, I suppose, to have another income stream, whether it's selling on Facebook or Instagram or Etsy. Then there's lots more opportunities for second stream of incomes, which don't need to affect the job that you do and the employer that you respect and work for. So, I think for me as well, you touched on personal development. So normally to start your own business, traditionally, this would cost thousands and thousands of pounds with no guarantee of success, whatever success is to you. You think about a coffee shop. I was in the local high street yesterday and I could see just in my eyes view 4 coffee shops, one very well known and 3 independents. And to set up a coffee shop is going to cost thousands and thousands of pounds, just the rent, the equipment, the staff, the product itself. So normally setting up your own business can be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds. And you've been involved in setting up businesses. So just on that point, if someone is looking to start their own business, would you say network marketing is certainly an option to consider? Like you'd say,
Based on what I know now, having done both, having set up a business that involved the buying of equipment and stock versus starting a network marketing business, I'd take the network marketing business every single time. And yes, look, there are some businesses that you do have to invest some hundreds of pounds to buy your initial stock. And that might be beyond the reach of some people. But there are plenty of network marketing businesses out there where there's no requirement to buy anything up front. There's stuff in utilities, there's stuff in travel. Your rewards can be very significant, but they're based on your activity and the quality of your activity rather than time.
yeah. So one of the things I wanted to go back to that also comes to this subject matter as well is your education about money. You mentioned you've learned a lot about that in the last 4 or 5 years. Now, I assume that's because of this type of business as well, but that's also because of something called passive royalty or residual style income. Can you educate everyone listening and watching about what you've learned as someone coming from the corporate world, very successful in that space, a big earner, and then coming into this space of network marketing?
Yeah, I mean the key difference is, and it doesn't really matter if you're in a corporate job or if you are running a business where you are selling a product or a service. When you stop either of them, the money stops. And in a network marketing business, we build what's described as passive residual income, or like a royalty style income. So we get paid repeatedly, a recurring income for having done a good job once. So in the business that we work with, we introduce a customer to our services, and then every month I get a small percentage of the amount that they spend with the business. Rough numbers, about 4%, £5 to £8 ish per customer. But I get that for each of my customers, whilst they're customers, month after month after month.
Yeah, so it's quite similar, isn't it, to like someone who writes a song or reads or writes a book.
Yeah, and then in addition to that, the people that I introduce to my team, I can earn reward and bonuses from the business by helping them start to grow their business. And then for each of the customers that they introduce, I get a really small override for those. Works out at about 30 pence per each of their customers. It doesn't come from their money, so we don't take anything from the other people that are in our teams. And as I build a team, if we talk about the power of 5, so introduce 5 people that know 5 people, you've added 25 people, and get the 25 to add 5 more, 125 more, up to 625, add them all together, we're nearly 800 people. If we all go and gather 10 customers each, we've got 8,000 customers, and I've got 2.5 grand's worth of residual income a month. Thank you. And I think as Art Jonak said, if you knew about the power of residual income, you break through brick walls to get it. And that's true. To live in a world where you wake up at the beginning of the month and you've already got you know that there's money already coming in, and you can impact that and grow more through other bonuses. We call that breaking the zero, because when we run our own business where we're selling product or service, or we're in a corporate job, we get paid at the end of the month, and then we flick over into the first day of the next month and we've gone back to zero. We've got no money again until we get to the end of the month.
It's the compounding effect, similar to what we talked about with the pension. It's that effort reward compounded. And I know you're a young guy, but I got a feeling you're probably unemployable. Can I see you back in a job, do you think?
No. When I got the news that my business was closing down, I spent about 20 seconds. The issue really for me, one of the drivers behind that was to find jobs at the level that I was working at, in the type of industry that I work in, looking at 18 months to 3 years. I was 50 years old, and I thought, really? I don't want to do that, and I was enjoying the network marketing stuff, and I thought I could spend a bit more time doing that. And it was a no-brainer. And I actually did an experiment in my first year in our network marketing business. The question I asked myself was, if I did lose my job, could I get this to generate enough income? And I had the most amazing month where everything fell into place. Everyone I spoke to said yes. Everyone I spoke to introduced me to someone. Every person they introduced me said yes. I think I did something like 27 new customers that month, resulting in many thousands of pounds in commission. And it just gave him my answer, which was, if you do enough of it, you can earn it.
And the other thing is, a lot of those were referrals, weren't they?
Yeah.
Recommendations from the other
Yeah.
person. That comes back to the earlier part of the conversation: building relationships, making friends, and helping those friends, and then being relatable and trustworthy. And that's what happened. So I'm super pleased for you that you're out of the corporate world. I know you love to travel, and you can also run your business pretty much from any location. And you're not that far away from Heathrow Airport, but I know you're going to Italy next week. So I know that you'll have your diary open to some degree, and you can operate in the world we live in now virtually. You can operate with location freedom. I know that means a lot to you.
And that's now the accepted norm in this household, right? So when we travel, it's understood that I travel with my notebook and my iPad, and we just make notes in the diary that says, right, at this time we just need to make sure we're sat in a coffee shop, and I can put my headphones on, jump on a quick call, 20 minutes, half an hour, introduce someone to our business, and then carry on with what we're doing, and doesn't get in the way.
Yeah. It's been a great conversation. I've got a couple of more questions for you as we come to a close. So my first question really is, what are your kind of key takeaways from your own story? Your story of going from a school environment, learning in a job environment, corporate world, to where you are now. What's your main takeaway?
Get a pension early would be the key thing. Both my kids have pensions already. Again, they're early 20s and mid 20s, and they're still very young for most people to have got a pension. Most people aren't looking at this until far too late. Talk to everyone. I'm gregarious as a character, but the more people you talk to, the more likely you're going to find some people with stuff in common with you that might want to do business with you. It doesn't matter what space you're in, and learn about money. Everyone needs to read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, that's really good advice, and really makes me kind of realize as well how far I've come in my 30 years of working as a financial advisor. And I've learned more in the last 7 to 10 years about money than I have in the previous 20. So my last question to you, Andrew, and is to think about, what was your biggest financial mistake?
Yeah, when setting up the cricket business, basically sticking all the company's cash into stock, and then having difficulty collecting money from customers, put us in a terrible situation. And as a person that was holding the purse strings and trying to run things and make things happen, that's incredibly stressful when you're worrying about, can you meet payroll at the end of the month? It's on paper you should have, but you're sat on £100,000 worth of stock. Well, what are you doing on £100,000 worth of stock, right? Because you hear people talk about, say, cash is king, right? And cash flow is king in a business, because you can get away with not making much profit or any profit as long as your cash flow is good. If you have cash flow, you can get away with it for a long time. If you got no cash flow, you're toast.
It's a good tip, because lots of small to medium-sized enterprises, small businesses, 80% of those businesses fail within the first 5 years, mainly down to cash flow. So it's a really good top tip, and thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you again for coming on. I think there's lots of key takeaways within this episode. For those of you watching or listening, please do subscribe. Please like and comment. Anything that you want to find out more about, please do send us a message. Andrew's details will be in the show notes. And Andrew, once again, thank you.
Oh, great to be on. Thanks, John.
My top tip this episode is to really consider the way that you earn income, and will it create the kind of retirement that you are visualizing?